Welcome to my channel. Today we are diving into one of the most fascinating and frustrating stories in modern football: why Eden Hazard failed at Real Madrid. This isn't just about a player who underperformed. This is about a superstar, once considered among the best in the world, who arrived at the biggest club on earth and never became the player everyone expected him to be. To understand this story properly, we have to go back to who Eden Hazard really was before Real Madrid. At Chelsea, he wasn't just a good player, he was one of the most electrifying footballers in the world. Week after week, he dominated games in the Premier League, widely regarded as one of the toughest leagues in football. His dribbling was magical, his balance almost unnatural, and his ability to glide past defenders made him nearly unstoppable. Hazard had a style that felt effortless. He didn't rely on brute force or extreme speed. Instead, he used close control, intelligence, and perfect timing. Defenders knew what he was going to do, and yet they still couldn't stop him. He was the kind of player who could change a game in a single moment, whether through a solo run, a perfectly timed pass, or a crucial goal. By the time he left Chelsea in 2019, Hazard had already cemented his legacy in England. He won multiple trophies, including Premier League titles, and was the central figure in Chelsea's attack for years. His final season was arguably his best, where he carried the team with goals and assists and looked ready for the next step in his career. That next step was Real Madrid. When Hazard joined Madrid, the expectations couldn't have been higher. He was signed as the replacement for Cristiano Ronaldo, which immediately put enormous pressure on him. Ronaldo wasn't just a great player, he was a goal-scoring machine and a symbol of success at the club. Hazard was expected to fill that void, not necessarily by copying Ronaldo's style, but by delivering the same level of impact. However, the first signs of trouble appeared even before Hazard played an official match. Reports surfaced that he arrived at pre-season overweight. While that might not sound like a huge issue, at a club like Real Madrid, it raised concerns about his preparation and professionalism. Starting behind in fitness meant he was already at a disadvantage before the season even began. Then came the injuries, which would ultimately define his time in Madrid. There's also the question of mentality. Throughout his career, Hazard was known for relying heavily on his natural talent. He wasn't the type of player obsessed with intense training or strict discipline. At Chelsea, his talent was enough to compensate for that. But at Real Madrid, where the standards are even higher and the competition even tougher, that approach became a problem. When things started going wrong, injuries, criticism, and poor performances, Hazard didn't seem to respond with the level of determination needed to turn things around. Whether that's entirely fair or not is open to debate, but the perception played a big role in how his time at the club was viewed. The pressure also cannot be ignored. Playing for Real Madrid is unlike playing for almost any other club. Every match is scrutinized, every performance analyzed, and every mistake magnified. The fans expect excellence, and anything less is met with criticism. For a player already struggling with injuries and form, that environment can be incredibly difficult. Hazard never really had a defining moment at Real Madrid. No iconic goals in big matches, no unforgettable performances in crucial games. At a club where legends are made on the biggest stages, that absence was significant. It made it harder for fans to connect with him and believe in his impact. Statistically, his time at Madrid was far below expectations. The goals and assists that once came regularly at Chelsea became rare. Appearances were limited, and consistency was almost non-existent. For a player signed for such a large fee, the return was simply not good enough. When he finally left Real Madrid, it was a quiet ending. There were no grand celebrations, no emotional farewell moments. It just ended, almost as if everyone had already moved on long before it became official. Looking back, it's impossible not to wonder what could have been. If Hazard had stayed fit, if he had joined Madrid earlier in his career, if circumstances had been different, maybe the story would have had a completely different ending. Because the talent was never in question. At his best, Hazard was one of the most entertaining players in the world. In the end, his failure at Real Madrid wasn't caused by a single factor. It was a combination of injuries, loss of physical sharpness, tactical differences, mental challenges, and overwhelming expectations. All of these elements came together to create a situation where even a player of his quality couldn't succeed. Hazard's story is a reminder that football isn't just about talent. Timing, fitness, mentality, and environment all play a crucial role. Even the best players can struggle if those factors don't align. And that's what makes this story so compelling. Because when we talk about Eden Hazard, we are not talking about an average player who failed. We are talking about a world-class talent who, for one reason or another, couldn't shine on the biggest stage of all. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Hazard was just unlucky, or do you believe he could have done more to succeed at Real Madrid? See you in the next video.